Don't waste another year, my friend, a clock just ticked. Another second passed, and in that moment your life moved forward, whether you moved with it or not. Now ask yourself this: how many more years will you allow to drift by while your potential sits in silence? How many more Januaries will you greet with the same resolutions, only to watch them rot under excuses and delay? This is not just another year. This is your moment, your turning point, and I'm here to tell you, don't waste another year. You were not born to be average, you were not designed to crawl when you have wings to fly, but the truth is, most people tiptoe through life hoping to reach death safely. They wait, they stall, they dream, but never act. And why? Fear, doubt, comfort, excuses, but none of those things pay you back. None of those things build a legacy. Comfort zones are the beautiful prisons we decorate to avoid the pain of growth. Time waits for no one. Time is the one currency every human is given equally, yet how it is spent defines the gap between success and failure, purpose and regret. You may borrow money, rebuild relationships, or regain strength, but you can never reclaim a moment once it passes. Every tick of the clock is a silent contract, a deal with destiny, offering you the power to create or the curse of delay. Most people do not value time because it arrives quietly and disappears without complaint. But those who understand its true worth become architects of their own fortune. The difference between the person who lives in abundance and the one who remains in scarcity is often not intelligence, not talent, not even opportunity. It is how they choose to use their time. The average individual wastes years waiting for the right moment, as if success will knock politely at the door. They wait for motivation, for clarity, for a sign, failing to realize that time respects action, not hesitation. Opportunities do not wait in line for you to be ready. They reward those who show up, who step forward, who move despite uncertainty. You must realize that every minute unused is a seed that dies in the soil of neglect. Time is not your servant, it is your judge. It does not forgive delay, and it does not pause while you make up your mind. The successful man or woman does not treat time casually. They treat it like gold mined from the earth, too precious to waste, too rare to take lightly. Look around you. Everything that you now admire, every empire, invention, or extraordinary individual, was built through the strategic use of time. They were given no more hours in the day than you. But while others scrolled, complained, or hesitated, they executed. They honored time not with lip service, but with discipline. You must become obsessed with your minutes. Guard them, budget them. Spend them only where they multiply your value, your knowledge, your purpose. For every hour you give to distractions, you rob your future self of power. Understand that you are either investing in tomorrow or borrowing from it. There is no neutral time. The illusion of someday is the greatest thief of progress. Someday does not exist on any calendar. It is the lie we tell ourselves to avoid the responsibility of now. Those who succeed in life are not waiting for time to be kind. They are commanding it to obey their mission. Remember this: time will either promote you or expose you. At the end of every year, the results you hold will be nothing more than a mirror of how you chose to use your days. It is not about how long you live, but how well you live within the moments you are given. And so you must wake up, not just from sleep, but from the trance of delay. The world is not waiting, your goals are not waiting, and life itself is moving with or without you. Time waits for no one. You were not born for mediocrity. Deep within every human being lies a seed of greatness, a divine spark, placed there not by accident, but by design. You were born with potential so vast, so unmeasurable, that the very idea of mediocrity is an insult to your existence. You were not meant to blend in with the crowd. You were not built to live in quiet desperation. You were made to rise, to lead, to create, to conquer. Yet, how many live as though their purpose is simply to survive? To wake up, go through the motions, obey the routine, and wait for life to hand them something more. Mediocrity is not humility, it is a betrayal. It is the silent agreement we make with fear to stay small. And every time you settle for less than what you are capable of, you give strength to that betrayal. There is no honor in shrinking to fit the world around you. The world does not need more people playing it safe. It needs more people willing to unleash what they truly are. Your dreams were not given to you as decoration. They are not fantasies. They are the blueprint of your potential calling you forward. Excellence is not reserved for the lucky or the chosen few. It is the result of those who decide with absolute resolve, to never accept an average life. It begins the moment you say, "Enough, I will no longer tolerate less than my best. I will not carry another year of untapped talent, silent vision, or ignored instinct." You were not born to be a background character in your own life. Look around. Every great inventor, every trailblazer, every leader you admire once stood where you stand. They were ordinary people with extraordinary decisions. The only difference between you and them is that they refused to settle. Mediocrity comes dressed in convenience. It offers comfort, routine, and familiarity, but it steals fire, hunger, and growth. It whispers, "This is good enough," when deep down you know you were created for more. That quiet voice inside you, the one that nudges you late at night and reminds you of your vision, that is your true self-rejecting mediocrity. The moment you accept mediocrity in one area of your life, it begins to infect them all. Let your standards slip in your work, and soon your relationships, your health, your spirit begin to erode. But when you raise your standards, when you raise your thinking, you rise in all dimensions. The great ones were not born greater. They simply refused to be average. They studied longer, trained harder, endured more rejection, faced more ridicule, but kept going. Why? Because they understood what you must come to understand. You were not born for mediocrity. You were born for mastery. Within you right now is the same force that built empires, wrote symphonies, changed nations. It is not a question of whether you have what it takes. You do. The only question is, will you choose to act on it? Or will you keep letting your potential collect dust in the attic of excuses? You were not born for mediocrity. Most people exist, few truly live. Take a long, hard look around you and you will see it. A world filled with people breathing, but not alive. They walk with their eyes open, but their vision is closed. They speak, but rarely say what they truly mean. They move through life as if it were a rehearsal, always preparing, never performing. This is not living. This is existing. To exist is easy. It requires nothing more than inertia. You can wake up, follow the routine, and drift through days, months, years without ever challenging the direction of your life. Society rewards this sleepwalking with titles, paychecks, and predictable outcomes, but what it rarely gives is fulfillment, and what it quietly takes is your fire. Living, truly living, is an act of courage. It requires you to break the pattern, defy expectation, and pursue the deepest callings of your heart. It means chasing purpose even when the world says, "Be practical." It means risking comfort for meaning. Most people would rather stay safe in the known than dare the edge of their potential. You see, existence asks for little. It says, "Don't rock the boat, stay in line, do what's expected." It never confronts you. It never pushes you, it never grows you, but life, real life, demands something different. It asks for commitment. It asks for intensity. It demands that you wake up. The person who lives fully does not ask permission to become who they are. They do not wait for approval to build their dream. They do not apologize for their passion, their ambition, or their hunger for more. They burn with purpose, and that fire is unmistakable. They are not clock watchers. They are clock builders. When you live with intention, every moment becomes sacred. Conversations matter. Actions are deliberate. Choices are not made for survival. They are made for legacy. You stop wasting time on things that drain you and start investing in things that define you. Living is not about adding years to your life, but life to your years. The tragedy is not that life is short. The tragedy is that so many waste it in silence, in fear, in routine, never questioning the path thereon, never daring to ask, is this really who I am? The clock keeps ticking not because it waits, but because it reminds us, your time here is limited, make it count. To truly live is to refuse mediocrity in all its forms. It's to say, I will not be just another name on the payroll. I will not be a copy of a copy. I will carve my own path. I will write my own story, and I will live in a way that makes people feel more alive just by being near me. That is the power of the awakened soul. There are two types of people in this world, those who count the days and those who make the days count, those who live in reaction and those who live in creation. One waits for something to happen. The other decides what will happen, and that decision, made daily, defines the entire outcome of a life. Most people exist, few truly live. Fear and comfort are enemies of growth. Growth is the natural order of life. The tree stretches toward the sky, the river carves deeper into the earth. The mind, the soul, the spirit, they are all designed to expand. Yet most people never reach their true capacity because they kneel before two deceptive masters, fear and comfort. Fear disguises itself as logic. It whispers, be careful. It says, what if you fail? It wraps itself in reason, masking its true identity as the enemy of progress. It keeps people trapped in jobs they hate, in relationships that drain them, in lives that never ignite their full potential. Fear feeds on your imagination, but only if you let it. Comfort, on the other hand, is far more seductive. It doesn't scream like fear. It sings lullabies. It says, you're doing okay. Stay here. Rest a little longer. Comfort is the silent killer of ambition. It builds cozy cages and convinces you that playing small is wise. But there is nothing wise about wasting your life on safety. You must understand this truth. Nothing grows in comfort. No champion was born in a comfort zone. No empire was built on a couch. No legacy was crafted by a person who feared the unknown. The greats, the real movers of the world, ran toward discomfort. They chose it. They trained in it, because they knew that comfort and greatness are mortal enemies. Every breakthrough you seek lies beyond a wall of fear. Every goal you dream of achieving waits on the other side of discomfort. This is a universal law. You cannot rise without resistance. You cannot evolve without effort. Growth demands that you feel the sting of challenge and still keep going. The danger is not failure. The danger is staying the same. Most people are so afraid of falling that they never climb. But what they fail to see is this: staying at the bottom guarantees regret, while the climb, however difficult, offers purpose. You must be willing to endure the discomfort of growth if you ever want to feel the satisfaction of transformation. Fear and comfort make excellent jailers, but only if you believe them. The prison they build is made of thoughts, not bars. The key has always been in your hands, but you must choose. Choose whether your life will be dictated by fear or by vision. Choose whether you'll worship comfort or sacrifice it for greatness. Ask yourself this: when did you grow the most in life? It wasn't when everything was easy. It was in the storm, in the uncertainty. In the stretch, that's where the real you was revealed, and that's where the next version of you is waiting, just beyond what feels safe. There is no power in a life lived for comfort. Power lives in risk, in boldness, in the decision to face fear and say, you will not own me. Every time you do that, every time you choose to step forward when it would be easier to retreat, you reclaim a piece of your potential. You become who you were meant to be. Fear and comfort are enemies of growth. Excuses are silent killers of dreams. Every dream begins with a spark, an idea, a vision, a whisper of possibility. But between the vision and its realization stands a quiet destroyer: excuses. Unlike fear, excuses do not shout. Unlike failure, they leave no obvious wound, but they kill dreams all the same, slowly, silently, and with deadly precision. Excuses are the lies we tell ourselves to escape the discomfort of discipline. They sound intelligent, they feel reasonable, it's not the right time, I don't have the resources, I'm too tired, too old, too busy. But peel back the language and you will find one thing behind every excuse: an unwillingness to take responsibility. No great life was ever built on the foundation of excuses. Excuses keep people poor in spirit, poor in action, poor in results. They are the bricks of mediocrity, and the more you stack them, the taller the wall becomes between you and your destiny. The person who masters their excuses masters their future. Excuses are more dangerous than failure because they feel safe. They let you avoid effort while pretending you're trying. But in truth, every time you make an excuse, you trade progress for comfort. You convince yourself that tomorrow is better than today, but tomorrow owes you nothing unless you act now. Examine the patterns of the most successful individuals throughout history, and you will discover this. They found reasons to act, not reasons to wait. They faced the same challenges you face: lack of support, lack of time, lack of certainty. But instead of leaning on excuses, they leaned on purpose. They moved forward anyway. Excuses love to dress up as circumstances. They say, "If only I had the resources." But look deeper, and you'll see people with less who built more. Excuses say, "I wasn't born into opportunity." Yet history is filled with those who rose from the ashes with nothing but a decision. The difference was never conditions, it was commitment. Every excuse you make becomes a chain, one becomes two, two become habits, habits become identity. Before long, you no longer need an excuse, you've built your life around avoidance. You become a slave to maybe later. You become a prisoner of not now. And while you wait, life moves on without you. You were not made to explain why you couldn't. You were made to prove that you could. And every time you silence an excuse, you add volume to your power. You awaken a part of yourself that doesn't ask for guarantees, it demands results. That's the part of you that creates change, that moves mountains, that makes the impossible bend to will. Ask yourself this with brutal honesty: have my excuses stolen more from me than any obstacle ever has? The answer, if you're bold enough to admit it, is yes. The excuse is always more damaging than the circumstance. The voice in your head saying, "not now," is far more dangerous than anything outside of you. Excuses are silent killers of dreams. No one is coming to save you. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must confront a cold but liberating truth. No one is coming to save you. No mentor, no miracle, no sudden shift of fate will pull you from the quicks. And unless you decide to rise, this truth is not meant to discourage. It is meant to awaken, because with it comes power. The moment you stop waiting, you start building. From birth, we are conditioned to expect guidance, permission, direction. But adulthood, true adulthood, is not an age, it is a realization. You are the author now, your script, your choices, your results. The world owes you nothing. If you want a breakthrough, you must break through. If you want success, you must summon it from within, not sit idly waiting for it to be handed to you. Look around you. How many waste their years begging life to be easier, hoping someone will notice their effort, praying for circumstances to align. But the most successful people were not rescued, they were relentless. They didn't wait for a savior, they became the force that changed their own reality. The idea that someone else will solve your problems is the root of weakness. It creates dependency, delays action, and drains ambition. The minute you depend on another to do what only you can do, you surrender your power. Self-reliance is not optional. It is your survival kit in a world that rewards initiative and punishes hesitation. You have a dream, then you have a duty. You have a problem, then you have the solution within you, or the capacity to find it. Life doesn't respond to complaints. It responds to courage. It responds to those who stand up, not those who point fingers or wait for a lucky break. Responsibility is the gateway to transformation. The harsh truth is this: if you don't build your life, someone else will hire you to build theirs, and they will pay you just enough to forget your own dream. Waiting keeps you in chains, action sets you free. You must stop looking outward and start digging inward. The strength you seek is already inside you, but it only activates under pressure, under responsibility. Excuses die the moment you accept full ownership. You no longer blame your past, your parents, your surroundings, or your circumstances. You look in the mirror and say, "It's me, I must change, I must rise, I must lead." And that decision is the turning point of every great story ever written. No one is coming to wake you up at dawn. No one is coming to demand you sharpen your skills. No one is coming to stop your distractions. That's your job, that's your burden, and your privilege. You are both the problem and the solution. You are the fire and the fuel. You are the lock and the key. It is far easier to wait for help than to build your own ladder, but every moment you wait, someone else is climbing. While you hesitate, someone else is acting. Life moves for no man, but it opens doors for those who kick them down with action, determination, and belief in their own authority. No one is coming to save you. Success is always waiting on the other side of discipline. Success is not a mystery. It is not luck, it is not timing, and it is never owed. Success is earned, purchased with discipline, paid for in daily decisions, and carved into reality by those who refuse to negotiate with weakness. Every goal you dream of, every result you crave is waiting, but only for the disciplined. Discipline is the difference between a wish and a result. The world is full of people who want more wealth, more respect, more meaning. But wanting is not enough. Wishing is not a plan. It is discipline that transforms a desire into a destination. You cannot cheat this process. You must outwork it, outlast it, and out. Focus every excuse that tries to derail you. Discipline is doing what must be done even when the mood is gone. It is rising when your body wants rest. It is choosing growth over comfort, focus over distraction, effort over ease, and the secret. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Discipline is like a muscle. It grows with resistance, not avoidance. You cannot build a legacy on motivation alone. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes with the weather. But discipline is a decision. It's a vow you make to yourself that says, "I don't care how I feel. I care what I said I would do." That kind of mental toughness separates the dreamers from the doers. That is the DNA of every champion. The path to greatness is paved with ordinary days that most people waste. It's built in the quiet hours when no one is watching, when no praise is offered, and no reward is guaranteed. Yet the disciplined person keeps going. Why? Because they understand that repetition breeds mastery and consistency creates kings. There is no shortcut to discipline. It must be earned step by step, choice by choice. And each day you keep your word to yourself, your power multiplies. Each time you do the work instead of finding an excuse, your confidence compounds, and eventually the world begins to take notice, not because you told them, but because you showed them. The truth is this: people admire success, but few are willing to pay the price of discipline. They want the results, not the repetitions. They want the crown, not the crucible. But what they don't see is that every breakthrough is born from the battle between desire and distraction, and discipline always wins that war. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. You don't need to feel inspired. You need to be intentional. Every small act of discipline is a vote cast for the future you want, and the more votes you cast, the more certain that future becomes. This is not magic, it's mathematics. Discipline is destiny in motion. Ask yourself, what could you build, who could you become, if you simply did what needed to be done every single day, no matter how you felt? That question holds the keys to every locked door you've ever stared at, because success is not hiding. It is standing right behind the wall of discipline you've yet to break through. Success is always waiting on the other side of discipline. Your time is currency. Spend it on what builds you. Time is the one resource no man can hoard, borrow, or buy back. It is the invisible currency of life, deposited into your hands every morning and vanishing, without your permission, every night. Whether you squander it or invest it, you pay with it either way, and unlike money, once it is spent, it does not return. Most people treat time as if it were infinite, trading it for distractions, selling it cheaply to convenience, wasting it on people, places, and habits that bring no return. But those who understand the game of life know this. Time is the only wealth that truly matters, and how you spend it will determine what you become. Every second of your day is a vote cast for the future you are building. Scroll mindlessly, vote for regret. Train your mind or body, vote for mastery. Waste time with people who drain you, vote for stagnation. Surround yourself with those who challenge you, vote for elevation. Your time tells the truth of your priorities, always. You would never hand a stranger the keys to your bank account, yet people do this with their time every single day. They allow others to hijack their attention, pull them into gossip, pointless arguments, trivial routines, and numbing distractions. But the successful are different. They guard their time like a vault, because they understand its value. Do not be deceived by the illusion of busyness. It is easy to fill your day and still waste your life. The true measure of time well spent is growth. Did today build you? Did it sharpen you? Did it bring you closer to your goals or keep you comfortably parked in neutral? Every day is a construction site or a demolition zone. There is no in-between. Time is the great equalizer. The wealthy, the poor, the genius, the ordinary, all are given 24 hours, but what they build with that time is what separates destinies. Some construct empires, others construct excuses, and those who succeed are not the ones with more time, but the ones who treat time as sacred and non-refundable. If you want to know your future, look at how you spend your hours. Not your plans, not your dreams, your hours, because the compound interest of your habits is always working. Every action today is an investment into your tomorrow, and there are only two outcomes. You build a life you desire or a life you'll regret. To master your time is to master your focus. Where your focus goes, your energy flows, and energy spent is time spent. So ask yourself, are your thoughts aligned with your purpose? Are your actions feeding your vision or starving it? Do you own your hours or lease them out to the meaningless? You cannot get serious results with casual time management. You cannot build a powerful life on scattered attention. Those who rise above mediocrity have one thing in common. They own their time like an asset, not a toy. They schedule growth, they audit distractions, they reject anything that does not build them stronger, sharper, or smarter. Your time is currency. Spend it on what builds you. So here's the question you must confront. Are you living? Or are you merely existing? If you have a vision, move on it. If you have a goal, hunt it down. If you have a dream, breathe life into it, because no one is coming to push you forward. That job is yours. Every day you delay is a deal made with regret. Every year you waste is wealth you never built, a relationship you never deepened, a version of you that never emerged. So decide, right now, to change the direction of your story. Burn the excuses, silence the noise, and rise up with purpose, because the same 365 days are coming your way whether you waste them or not. Make them count. Don't waste another year.